right, let's discuss Zine. Interesting layouts I've come up with. Remember, you want to stay within the grids. If you look at my examples, except for this one, it's centered to this space, but everything stays within the grid. Use the grid. Please do not divert. You can expand over the grid, but I want you to try to lock everything into the grid in some capacity. So like I said here, it is centered in the grid. So making sure you're really focusing on the use of a 2-column grid. One more thing is make sure you have your title written out correctly, Zine, your last name, and save it as an Indesign file. That is your live file that you need to use to keep editing it. I'm going to ask the second thing that we're going to discuss, and please wait to watch this. It's towards the end. I really need you to know how to create a PDF that is spreads. So a spread that's not just one page, but the 2 pages together. So when we look at your pages, we're not printing page 1 or page 12, but we are printing page 2 and 3. But together, not 2 and then page 3, but together as one spread, I want 2 and 3. I want 4 and 5, 6 and 7, 8 and 9, and 10, 11. So you should have 5 sheets. Remember, if I'm going to print them out for you, which I'm happy to do for free, must give me these files correctly before Monday. If you do not, you might not be able to be a part of the critique because we're not going to have time to print it out in class. Or you can bring it because you printed it out at home on your own. If you have a printer available, it's just a black and white printout, letter size. Here are a few examples, and I want to talk about how I use this space. I have my question, I have a call out, which I do want you to do a quote call out from, or in addition to the writing that you have. How do you make it unique, make it different in some capacity from your body and your header? Maybe it's a little bit bigger than your body copy. But not as big as your question. You can center this one, or left or right justify. You could justify if you want it, but you can see what I was talking about before, that you're going to get those empty spaces. I think it's fine to do the pull-out quotes using the more conservative centered align type. So that is on this bar here that I've talked about before. If you go into window, you can open up your control and you can see the same panel as I do. So right here is how you adjust the alignment. All right. So I made a box, a placeholder box for my art, and I added in my flowers. And at one point I had the flowers at the margin, which means, which we talked about, is a live area, is a safe area. We know that's not going to be cut into. But if I want to add a bleed, which you could, you need to go beyond the edge. See how it's like double the size of the margin outside of the margin. That's what I'm asking for if you do a bleed. So if I look at this using the W, clicking on the W back and forth, I can be in work mode and I can be in presentation mode. And if I unclick off of tools, you can really see how it feels like one full page instead of a separate pages. So when people design like this, it looks like there's 2 pages. I want you to be careful that you create a feeling of one page flowing together. Here's another example. This is where I'm trying to show you that you can use returns for paragraph breaks. These are small paragraphs, but this is how you can use it. This will give you some more space to fill up your document. Another big, beautiful picture first, and then I centered my question, not justified, but I centered it in left justification. So it's aligning up to the left, but it's centered in the panel. If I go into W mode, you can see if you just go over, a line will come up, which will help you align it to the center. And my type are perfectly aligned into the columns. Use the grid. You're on a 2-grid system. If you're using it to be centered within it, it's fine, but you must use the grid. It's very important. Here I did a full bleed, but I don't have to. I could bring it in on the margins. I could take it off the center margin. I can bring it over a little bit so it flows more into it. It's a lot that you can do. With just a few items on a page, you can experiment on how a layout could be. So you can see I made a full bleed here. I broke the gutter. There might be a shift, but I'll take that risk to get an idea of this nice spread that flows all the way to the other side. There's no copy here, so there's no problems of readability. So I feel safe about that. I've centered my quote within the page. I put the left justification of a title, and then I have paragraphs with a return for each paragraph in my body copy. So question, quote, body copy, image. And then here I've used the pen tool, which is located over here. It's going to be the same tool when you use for Illustrator. You can manipulate the boxes to have angles or cutouts if you would like to. It can be fun. So everything that you remember in Illustrator is also available in InDesign. So there's a way to adjust the boxes. And then here I did another return to show the spacing. And I don't remember what we said, want to start with the beginning with a return, because we can't, but a tab. No tabs at the beginning. This one would be larger, so this one might need a tab. This is not the correct tab. See how it goes so far in? But I will discuss that later. Put your tabs in for now, and I will show you in class after critique how to do tabs. So I'm trying to make sure I get a tab and not a space and a tab. So what's happening is I need to do return and then tab. So that's what a spacing looks. And it's fine. And the nice thing about it is it doesn't add more additional space if you have a lot of copy. If you don't have a lot of copy, then doing the full return and no tab can work. Right? So the two options that you have. Same stuff, question, pull out quote, body copy, image. You can use the pen tool to move around the image to create unique different boxes. Have it in a grid. All of the body copies should be in a grid. There are times where I broke into the other side or pulled this to start a little further out because of my image. But I try to stay within the grid for all issues. All right. Those are a few examples. I hope that was helpful. So most important thing that you need to know, I hope you waited all the way to this time because this is the most important part. What you need to do now is we need to make a PDF. In InDesign, you can't just do save or save as. You need to go to Adobe PDF presets. That's the way I go. You could use export, but I use Adobe PDF presets and I use the preset quality. So go to File, Adobe Presets, Press Quality. I changed it to my last name if I haven't already, even though this is only making a PDF, and a PDF is not editable. You cannot change and adjust this. And I save it. and it'll bring up another dialog box. This is the most important dialog box. You want to make sure you don't have it on all, you have it on range 211, and then you have it on spreads. That is all you need to do for this. I'm going to take a snapshot on it so everyone can see, and then you hit export. So now you have a spreads. You will not have crop marks. The other group will have crop marks, but it'll be printed out for you so you can see the document. All right. And then that needs to be sent to me so I can print it out for you. All right. Make sure you then save this file. Save as, and last name, and then wherever you want it on your desktop. If you don't do this, you will not have a document you can go back and edit. You must have both the InDesign, INDD design, and the PDF. One more thing, those students that are going to be working in the library and then coming to the computer lab in the classroom, you must do one more step for saving your documents. This is really important. You must do save as and do InDesign CS4 or later. You need a IDM. So make sure you do that. I'm doing another snapshot and I'll put that on the announcement. That's it. Have a great Halloween. I'll see you in class on Monday.